Hi, Vincent.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. So what were you talking about with Luke Ford?
Um, I guess we were just catching up. What did we talk about? Massages, promiscuity, gender relations, books. Yeah. Oh, Jen. Bit of gossip. Duvid. Getting married. Late night fears.
I'm on the show. Yes, late night fears.
Yeah, we were wondering where the hell we're going, what's going to happen to us, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. He listens to audiobooks so he doesn't look at porn or whatever.
Yeah, and I think his latest story was that he told a woman that and she would never call him again or something. I think he was telling that to somebody earlier in a previous dream.
Um, Tomorrow we're not going to do the reading. I'm off tomorrow, but I want to do so every day that I'm off for the next month, I tried doing the Seventh Day Adventist, but it wasn't working. I have to do that another way. I'm going to do Jehovah's Witness tomorrow. I know you don't like the guy, but I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm not going to do you Gentiles reading.
Okay.
We'll start that again on Tuesday. So yeah, what's her name? Cherry Menthol called the cops on Claire. What did she have? I mean, they must have nothing on you because they're not going to come. What did you say about her?
Well, yeah, it's like I mean, I think it's because she thinks because of those photos they can treat him, just call the cops on me for any reason at all. I think that must be the reason, because it's like, well, I didn't even say anything to you. And anyway, it's not my stream,
Hmm.
and that's what she said. Well, that's what she said she'd done. But
And she said that the cops said that we would be prosecuted for a hate crime in the UK.
oh, but it's just ridiculous. I don't even know if she even did, or she just did it to frighten me or something, you know. But yeah, Jonas just knows people like that. Crazy, stupid, malicious.
Yeah, Jonas, like, he's not going to be like, oh yeah, you know what? I know that Jonas Henson is not going to be like, yeah, I know as a homosexual why you would be offended that the government recognizes the no-hate laws as the foundation of America. It should probably be repealed. Like, he's never going to say anything like that. It's just going to be, why are you talking about this? Stop talking about it. It's not relevant.
He's well, he's not the brightest bulb in the box. Most people just can't discuss ideas. It's very tedious of them, but I suppose we just know the kind of people to avoid, really. You know, and
Yeah.
I think as a matter of policy, we should avoid these people because they just drag us down, and.
Well, they're good for getting like social media spread if you drag them into your fights and stuff like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
You
Which is
know.
why I haven't unfriended Jonas. I'm happy to keep it going, but I've had enough of Cherry Mental. It's like, oh, I'm a grandmother. How dare you hurt me? And it's like, you know,
Well,
they always do this. Oh, I'm a mother, grandmother thing, don't they? It's to
hmm
be extra pathetic and to make you feel extra bad that you hurt a grandmother's feelings.
yeah.
So, what you been doing today?
Um, Not much. watch the show, was smoking pot, talking to people. Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Just I want to watch the shows. I want to kind of complete a course and I want to just see what he has to say about Jehovah's Witnesses. I want to glean anything I can because I have my blog, bewisestserpents.blogspot.com, that deals with the Judeo-Freemason foundations of Christian Science, Jehovah's Witness, and Mormonism. And it also was involved in the foundation of Seventh-day Adventists, but they broke away from it and turned against Masonry. Excuse me. So I have a different website on them. It's called butharmlessasdoves.blogspot.com.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
I actually ended up talking a lot of theology today at Speaker's Corner.
Well, those are all Muslims pounding their chests?
Yes, yes. I mean, it's okay. It's a Sunnis, the kind of reduced in number because it's Ramadan and a few of them are there, but they haven't eaten since it got light. Yeah, and the pounding of chest thing is well unusual anyway, but it's a Shias basically saying you Sunnis, you killed our prophet, blah, 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 or something like that. But it was kind of like, ooh, you can just feel the testosterone in the air. And the kind of pounding was quite rhythmic, and yeah, and then you sort of saw their backs, which they're kind of what they flagellated themselves. Like that scene in what's the name? Oh, that movie about by Dan. Oh, what's his name? Dan Brown. He wrote this thing about Jesus, right?
Oh, the Da Vinci Code.
Yes, that's right. So you could see the marks on their back, but and I was standing quite near to an old man who was kind of getting into it, and I guess it's you decide how hard you want to pound your chest and whether you want to pound it so hard it's all bruised, but the pounding is the drum-like effect. And it's quite I mean the way they do it, they sort of do it sort of slowly, and then it gets louder and harder and louder and harder, and then it goes softer and softer and softer, and then it stops, and then it starts, slower, slower, harder, harder, etc., in a cycle.
Well, I think, I mean, they're trying to intimidate people like, oh, we're such warriors, you know what I mean? Like, but it shows their solidarity and the fact that a bunch of all these right-wing white men that we talked to could never organize anything half that size or as intimidating or as internally organized as all of that. They could never do that.
Yeah, I guess it's a tradition. I don't even know what it's called now. But yeah, it's a sort of day of, I think it's called Day of Rage or something. Yeah.
They're gonna, that's why so many people on the white right now are turning towards Islam because, it's acting aggressive.
Um, I mean, they haven't been doing anything aggressive, to be fair. I mean, they haven't been
Well, no,
blown.
they're leaving. I mean, they're starting to become a little bit less leftist liberal. Some of their more radical ones are starting to speak up against feminism and gay rights and stuff.
Yes, and because they sense that Western conservatives kind of approve of it, and are going to use their religion in order to, you know, do this sort of thing. And and I guess it's called the Day of Ashura. Shia Muslims slash and whip themselves to mourn the death of Prophet Muhammad's grandson. The ritual marks the holy day of Ashura, when Shiite Muslims remember the death of Imam Hussein. I think that's the one, I hope. Oh no, oh no. Or is it something else? I don't know. Yeah. I've just seen such a horrible picture full of blood. But it's not these guys. I mean, these guys were sort of relatively civilized and kind of made a musical performance, really. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's like, it's all men, because women wouldn't pound their chests, right? And it's kind of like, yeah, you ladies, you can't do this sort of thing, and you wouldn't want to. And I mean, what did you feel? Did you think it was silly, or did you sort of?
No, I thought it. I've seen them do that before, and I feel like it's they're just trying they're militarily organizing. It's like a display of power, and it looks like a display of power. Like, look, we're all organized with our shirts off and we're banging our chests, and you know, yeah.
Well, I suppose white men would just have a military parade, right? They'd have a military band, and that sort
Well,
of.
they can't do that now. I mean, they can't even get this done. They can't get anything done. They can't get they barely go out and protest, any of these men. They barely ever go out with signs and organize and do rallies or anything like that. They're on the internet all day and on Telegram. They're not even real, and they only talk to each other, really, unless they're fighting with leftists. But I mean, they really make all their propaganda only for themselves and for their own people. They don't, whereas Muslims make propaganda towards everyone, even gay people, trying to get gay people to come to Islam. I mean, they're smarter, and women, you know what I mean? And these are just white right-wing men, and they're only concerned about the men, and really only white men, and then only white men that are of their streak of political adherence. And how many of those are there? I mean, white men used to make up 45% of the population if 90% of it was white. So now white people make up, what, 62% of the population? Let's just say it's 60. So then white men make up 30% of the population. And then what percent of them are actually um in that, you know, much less than 15%? It must be like 10% or 5%.
Yeah, and recently, more alarmingly, there was some statistic about most men are fighting age too overweight and mentally ill to join the armed forces, something like that. I think that this applied to America. Yeah, I think there was America overweight. So, there is a problem here. And actually, I was, okay, here it goes. 77% too fat, mentally ill, or stoned to serve in US Army. And this was a study that was published 8 days ago. A recent Pentagon study revealed that most Americans do not meet the health requirements to serve in the military without a special waiver. 77%. It's in
Are
America.
too overweight or mentally ill
All three.
or high.
Yeah, I guess if you're addicted, then there is a problem, I guess.
Okay, well, wow. Wow. That's that's pretty bad, but you know, I don't know how to. Well, it's just, I think gay men take better care of themselves usually. Everyone always makes fun of them because they spend all their time at the gym. So once we take over the culture fully, it'll be more of an exercise culture, you know. Yeah.
Well, could you just talk for a bit? I have to take a call. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, as I
Hello.
was saying that
Yes, yes, I am.
um oh, you're back?
I'm actually on a call.
Oh, Claire's talking. I don't think she's talking to me. Claire, are you talking to me? Oh, she put me on mute. Now I can't hear her. Um, yeah. So once we're kind of parenting all the children through the fucking surrogates and the baby machines, then everyone will be a lot more, you know, fit because the culture, everyone will be born into these like, kind of uppity gay households where, they want to, youth and beauty a little bit, not totally, not overboard, but, more so than the general population. And so, more power to us. Yes.
What were you saying, Vincent?
No, I was just saying that once gays are producing all the children, that I think will be a more physically fit population because I think we put a little bit more emphasis on that.
Well, I suppose you'd try even harder if you knew you were responsible for it. But I guess at the moment everybody's passing the buck and it's somebody else's responsibility. And I mean, don't you find Dalmatian dogs' attitude a little? Well, I guess if I were a white nationalist, I would think, oh dear. You know, it's like, no, I'm not going to have children because my children are just going to be enslaved by the state, so I'm not going to bother. That seems to be his attitude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he just, not having any children. He's totally black pilled and, he's just a doomer and doesn't believe that anything is fine.
Well, I think religion is needed to give people hope. Otherwise they'll just go, in the long run we are all dead. Let's all die now. Life is so horrible. You know. It's actually now when you think, yeah, you do need a religion. Everybody needs a religion, or they'll just won't become like us now.
Well, well, it seems like
So
these
my friend
people
here,
need
I
a
met 20
religion,
minutes ago
and
now. We've had some really
unfortunately, they're
interesting
going to
conversation,
grab for a
really
bad
thoughtful conversation. She's
religion,
willing.
no matter what they grab for. And so, I mean,
How can you
yeah,
tell it's a bad religion? I mean, what's your criteria for a bad religion?
well, I mean, if it's anything like anything Abrahamic, I mean, if it, I think I'm at the point where I would say any religion is not good.
Well, I mean, you only have a very small. Well, there's really five. I mean, if you're just thinking of the five world religions. So, um, well, there you are. I mean, okay. I mean, you can just look at all the different countries in the world and the civilizations they've had, right? You can look at the Hindu Empire, the Majapahit Empire, and surely you can work out that it's somehow linked to religion. I mean, it's almost classified according to religion, right?
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean religion's good, and that doesn't mean the empires we've had have been as good as they could have been. Um, you know, I think that maybe it's time to build something not on superstition and like things we can't see and maybe not talk about God. You know what I mean? Maybe just, leave that out of the equation because it just seems to be something we can't prove. And, people turn it into a mess and make a problem out of it.
I mean, have you considered that without religion, life would be even worse? I mean, you're saying, okay, I mean, nobody's happy, but, um, well, it could be worse, couldn't it? And obviously
Well,
it has a purpose because all these civilizations and these countries who, look nothing like us have some kind of system that is similar. It's about, well, you better not be too mean, before you die because you're going to get punished. And it's this idea of, um, punishment after life for bad deeds done in this life and reward. Um, people long for perfect justice, and they think, or they like to think, that if they don't get it in this life, they're going to get it in the next, and you can't really stop them from wanting to believe in it because they all believed in it when they were children, or most children did.
I know. Well, it's time to kind of like break that and break the cycle and, break the cycle of religion. And I mean, I don't know exactly how the Noahide laws are going to do it. Maybe the answer's there and I just haven't studied it yet. But, getting people to realize that this is a problem and that, spirituality is actually what's causing their own personal problems. I mean, now I've left spirituality behind and I can see how it gave me a lot of personal problems and how it actually made my life harder to be spiritual.
What can you explain that? Because people talk about spirituality in a positive way, don't they? They say things like, "I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual." I mean, what does that mean? Why do they think it's sort of one is bad and the other is better? You know,
Like, I guess one is more like free and based on the individual, and one is an organized structure that you have to follow.
but it's the same thing because the whole idea, the whole point of religion is to program our minds, right? It's saying, well, if you do this, you're going to get the reward, maybe in this life, but probably in the next life, and if you keep following these rules, you'll get there, and this means that you'll do things that might not result in good things. But we still want you, but if you believe in this sort of thing, then you'll do it and it'll be for everyone's good, i.e., everyone in your religious group or your country or whatever. And surely any society needs these beliefs, because, what, okay, even if you reject all the other religions that are on offer. You are in fact offering something similar, but you're just claiming that your system is better,
Hmm.
aren't you? You're saying, I mean, like communism. It's like, oh, religion is the opium of the people, and communism is going to be better. But well, the only country that is still using communism is China. So it actually makes me wonder what religion China has, and I guess the Chinese will. You're eating very loudly.
I'm not eating, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Um. 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 So I guess if you ask the Chinese, they'd say we have this thing called statecraft. We just make a point of learning from our mistakes and you know trying to find new and different ways of imposing control on our population. And this is basically what all the political scientists that you might have heard of have been doing, since the time of Confucius. How to run the country properly or better.
Yeah, well, we used to have kingdoms, and maybe that wasn't the best system. So, I know religion was used in statecraft, but maybe it's really not the best system, or it doesn't really work anymore. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I don't know if a kingdom would work today. I just don't know if that would happen. And, you know,
Well, I mean, we can go through this thing logically, can't we? It's like the age of monarchy has come and gone. We're actually now in the time of the republic, because obviously something went wrong with all these kings, in China as well as in Europe, because, well, I guess people just rose up against them when the government got so bad they couldn't stand it anymore, and they overthrew these kings and executed them, basically. And after the Russian communism, um, revolution, there was communism. After the French Revolution, there was liberalism. So, different European countries tried their own thing. The Germans tried Nazism, the Italians tried fascism, the British, the Anglo-Saxons tried liberalism. And, it's like they've tried all the other things. It's not like they haven't, they just sat there and didn't do anything and only believed in Christianity. There's been a lot of political experimentation over the centuries. And I'm saying, well, you've tried all the wrong ways now, and therefore um, you should try the thing that you haven't tried, but which you obviously object to and don't like. Because it's not like
yeah,
you haven't tried anything. It's not like, oh, we just tried Christianity and we don't want to try any. You tried loads of
yeah, but
stuff.
I think, Claire, I mean, with secular Quranism, I really think the problem is secular Quranism, you say, would lead to Islam, and Islam is a problem because, Islam does cloud your rational and reasonable judgment as a religion. And, it has not really,
How has it
it's
clouded my judgment?
no, but you're not religious. You don't believe in all that kind of stuff. But when you do believe in that kind of stuff, the Muslim world is not known for being scientific or cultured, and it brought them down. And people don't want that. I mean, secular Quranism,
Yes,
it's
yes, but I don't think you are saying that it was Islam that brought Muslims down. It's like I think it's because they didn't follow their own rules, and it's so easy to not follow your own rules. I'm sure you've broken your own rules, haven't you?
no,
Why don't
but
you tell?
Muslims were following their own rules. I mean, they lived in theocracies. I mean, they were following their own rules to the best of their ability, and the more that they followed the rules, the worse they were off. The more fundamentalist, an Islamic state is, the more backward and stupid it is.
I don't think that's quite fair, because you're okay. I mean, you would have to point to a country, and then we'll have to say, well, why did that country go wrong? And I imagine if you're going to point to any Muslim country, you'd have to point to the well, the Ottoman Empire, because that was the most recent and powerful Muslim empire around. And so it failed, and I guess we have to ask ourselves why it failed. And unfortunately, it wasn't on the syllabus of our history, our history syllabus when we were at school. But I mean, it does look that they declined because of corruption, of lowering standards of sexual morality. Oh, and right, the Ottoman Empire had an imperial harem. So basically, the emperor broke the four wives max rule. So yeah, that was the reason. I guess he spent too much time in his imperial harem instead of governing his country properly, and that's why it crashed and burned. How about that? as an explanation. I'm sure there are lots of historians say, oh no, it's something else. But it's like, yeah, well, I'm sure that they broke a lot of other rules as well, like making gay marriage legal in 1858.
I don't think the Muslim world slipped down because they became more liberal. I think that, in during their golden age when see they were still living off the steam of the other cultures, off the other pagan cultures that were very rich in history and in art and in science. And then under Islamic administration, it all declined. They were burning the libraries and stuff like that. You're
Were
not
they? I
having?
thought it was the Christians who did it. I don't know.
Well, Christians and Muslims both do it. They were into burning libraries.
I mean, people go mad periodically, don't they? I mean, if you think of the Aztecs, I mean, what were they on about? You really have to get into the minds of these people to think, how could they get so crazy, and why did it carry on so long? And it wasn't like, oh, it was just a crackpot people who were shit at everything, and couldn't do anything properly, because I don't know, I can't even pronounce the names of the city and whatever, but it was supposed to be very beautiful. Can you remember the name of this Aztec city? Monga Picchu or something like that?
I don't know.
Yeah. But I suppose, okay, the point I'm trying to make is that all empires decline because they become a victim of their own success. So when you're top of the tree and you don't think anybody can defeat you, you'll lower standards of sexual morality because you can't see the harm of it. And by the time you see the harm of it, it's too late because everybody's infected and you can't tell anyone off because they'll kill you or something. Or they just won't move. They'll just say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give up the fun I'm having, for the greater good. Because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the greater good because I want to have fun before I die. You're a very unusual atheist, aren't you, Vincent? In fact, what you propose doesn't even make sense at all. Because I guess if you were a typical homosexual, you just be concentrating on having as much sex as you can, and then and that's it.
Um, I'm agnostic. I'm not atheist.
Okay, so if you're agnostic, you could believe in God, right? Do you want to believe in God?
I don't know.
Why
I don't
don't
know what
you
to think.
know? Because I mean, it's obviously made a lot of people that happy. It's made your mother happy.
I don't know, but hey Siri, turn off the fan. But I know that since I've stopped thinking about anything spiritual, hold on one second. Hey Siri, turn off the fan. I feel better and I have more comfort in my life because I'm not thinking about anything that I cannot perceive affecting my reality. I'm not thinking about, some spiritual force either approving of my activities or not, and whether or not they're going to punish me, and whether or not I'm being sent signs. And I used to follow signs a lot. I used to believe in signs and being led and being sent signs to think about certain kinds of things, and it really led me nowhere. And, I would think things like, oh, this is a sign meaning this is a sign meaning that. And it really didn't. And, it really didn't help me. So, I don't really want to think about God. And I don't want to think about the Abrahamic God either. And maybe that's why Alan Cecil is saying, you can be an atheist because maybe, okay, the Noahide laws aren't so bad, but the spiritual stuff behind it might be a lot, and maybe it's something you don't want to think about or get into. And you know,
Well, why? Well, okay. I mean, I find it as a system, well, just actually enormously comforting because it gives you a lot of certainty about what the hell you should be doing and what is right and what is wrong, and you're not dithering around, and so but yeah, it could be you know man-made, but it works, so who cares?
well, look, you want people who are wise, like the no-hide laws. If you follow them because they make sense, then it's the wise among the nations. And so, um, you want people who follow these ideas because it's smart to do so, not because they're driven by a God to do so. And I think the thing is that you make no religion, in my opinion, the law, no religion, no God, and then you behead anyone who breaks that. And then you'll only have the people left who are following the law, excuse me, because it makes sense, not because God said so. And so you have a society of rational people rather than irrational people that only do the right thing because God you put the fear of God in them.
Well, I mean, it works both ways. For people who need to be frightened, it frightens them, and for people who don't need to be frightened, well, it makes sense to them. So why complain? It works.
I know it well, but I don't want people. Okay, like under the Noahide system, it prohibits wrong religious activity, but it doesn't teach right religion. I don't want people being taught. I don't want the state teaching any kind of spirituality on. Yeah, it shouldn't teach any spirituality because it gets you in trouble. And oh, look,
How
if
does
you're
it
behind,
get? Sorry,
okay,
I don't understand
listen,
how it gets
listen,
you in
Claire, if
trouble.
you're, it works the same way with the no-hide laws. If you get rid of everybody who doesn't think like you, then everything's going to be fine for you. So the simple answer is that you just get rid of everybody who needs religion, and then we don't have to argue with you.
Well, but people change their mind. I mean, you say you're
Well, you can
agnostic,
argue
so
with them
you
a little
haven't made
bit.
up your mind.
You can argue with them a little bit. You can, well, okay, it's hard. Okay, like everybody knew that the Jews were coming, you know what I mean? Um, Along the way when they were going to Israel, everyone knew that the Jews were coming. So, they had the opportunity to surrender, I guess, under the Noahide laws if they wanted to. So, you know, it just makes you think a little bit quicker, doesn't it?
I
It
don't understand what you meant. I don't
what
understand.
I'm trying to say is that, people are going to have time. The movement is going to have time to get exposed. It's going to have time to be exposed. People are going to have time to learn about it and make an opinion based on a learned opinion. And that's where the world will be at by the time anything is ready to uh, go to the next step and actually met out punishments for this. So everyone would have had a chance. So, your thing is, well, you can change people's minds. Well, they will have had plenty of time to change their minds.
I don't think you understand the crucial role of the media in just changing their minds. You can control their minds by controlling the media. That's why it's so important. And um, so it's really getting the right publicity to, you know, to for, for your ideology, to the exclusion of others. And if you can control that, you'll get you know your ideology through. And politics is about working towards that, isn't it?
Well, the idea that I'm going to get the media under my control anytime soon is a fantasy. So, I'd rather do what I can. And that, Claire, you see, we're going at two different speeds. I'm planning generationally, you're planning for tomorrow.
Well, I'm trying to do it as soon as possible, and and therefore we have to be focused because obviously I'm not going to be around forever, so I don't have time to go on. Um, well, I don't have. Okay, I would like the most direct route, and the most direct route is through the media, through media exposure, because the narrative needs to be woven and sold, packaged properly, propagated properly, and I think people will be able to understand the narrative and find it appealing. I mean, haven't I been able to make secular Quranism appealing to you?
No, well, first of all, I would never want it, but number two, it doesn't work for me as a person who wants to stop Abrahamism.
Why, then why do you want to stop it? You can't stop it. There are too
Yes, I
many of
can.
them. There are too many of
No,
them.
well,
Well, you can
with my
fantasize about
slow,
stopping it.
no, with look, I'm gonna poison the Christians and the Islam with Noahidism so that I get revenge in that they actually lose their own children and grandchildren to this new cult, and then you just go after the world has been Noahidized, all this kind of liberal globo homo that's been militarized will be left, and then the militarized globo homo and the Noahides can go at it, and you know that's when my side wins.
But you
And
won't be around and you won't see
so
it.
what? So what? I don't care. I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to put my energy into something like seeing something huge like that in my lifetime. I can, well, I was just thinking about this the other day that I can see it sprout. I'm not going to see the full sunflower and sun in bloom, but maybe I can see it get a few inches tall. You know what I mean? Like, and I can say, well, it's definitely on its way to becoming a sunflower.
Right. But you won't know for certain.
No, well, but I think I will know more for certain. I won't get anything done if my goal is to see it turn to a sunflower in my lifetime.
Okay,
Uh,
so I mean, it still works for you to and me to be talking about secular Quranism versus no hidism. But I'm saying we could get there faster if we both do secular Quranism. But it would be taking you away from your. I mean, okay, we can map it out, right? So we are. Um, I'm just trying to imagine it. Okay, so there's a piece of paper. There are. Um,
okay.
okay, we are two dots next to each other, and one of them is. Damn, I wish I. Is there something that I can write? Okay, I can do it later. I can illustrate it on a piece of paper. Thank you for giving me the idea, and then maybe you'll understand better. Um, why you should do things my way. for your own sake, for your own sake, for your own, so that you will get, recognition in your own lifetime. Because of course I'm thinking of you. I'm not just saying,
Well,
it's
no,
just do
I'll get
things my way.
recognition. Look, I'll get recognition
In your
in
lifetime.
that. No, in my lifetime, I'll get Look, look. Okay, so I've, I've started a project that I already knew would take a long time. And it's like I said, growing sunflowers, and let's just say sunflowers were like this very rare plant and very hard to make. And or it was a new type of flower that I had planted myself and nobody thought it would work and all this other kind of stuff. So I plant these, seeds that nobody thought would work or that I would get nowhere with them, and I put them all in the ground. And then, by the end of my life, you see all the plants growing up out of the ground, and then people are like, oh, well, he was right, and then all the media come and all this other kind of stuff. And at least I was right about the seeds. Okay, I got the seeds right, that if you plant these seeds, you're going to get this rare kind of flower, and I was able to do it. And it's going to, okay, it's going to bloom after my death, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Okay. I mean, for, for myself, I mean, obviously, um, many people have told me that I'm unrealistic to expect, any kind, anything to happen in my lifetime. But somebody has to start the thing. Somebody has to start the ball rolling. So, we're talking about it. We have an idea. Then the next step would be to try to implement it and talk about implementing it. And I don't see why it would necessarily fail, because people want a solution to their problem. And I think, something is happening, something momentous is happening. I'm saying it's a breakdown of liberal democracy, and we could be entering quite dangerous waters. And the least you can have when you enter dangerous waters is some kind of plan, not just utter panic and whatever. You should have a plan, and what we're doing is articulating it, explaining it, repeating it, and making it, well, not as remote as it would otherwise be if we didn't talk about it. And once people get used to the idea, well, and even if they hate it, they'll complain about it to each other, and in this way propagate it. So I don't see any harm in talking about it, and obviously our conversations are very useful.
Yeah, 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 they're useful. I think they would okay, I think they would be even more useful if you would actually lay out the your laws specifically the way I do, or Alan Cecil put out the 209 laws and we read through them, and they had footnotes to explain everything. So there was a list. And there's not a list of secular Quranist laws, and you don't,
I've
well,
got
the
7
only,
of them. I have them deleted. Okay, if somebody was serious about it, they would be going off and talking about it. I mean, and I think the reason why they don't want to date, they don't do it, is because they're afraid of it. Yeah,
yes, it's obviously people are afraid of it by the way they behave.
and they have to get over their fear, and they will when we go on and on and on, and they'll just get less and less scared of it, because even the worst horror movie, you look at the same scene, and maybe the more you look at it, the less scary it becomes. And I think a lot of the neurosis of the people that we have been watching is because they're scared, and they're so scared they don't want to say how scared they are, and that's why they talk nonsense and can't have honest conversations with each other. And I don't even think that our ruling classes are having conversations, well, honest conversations with each other because they're too scared of each other. They're even more neurotic.
Yeah,
We,
the whole society is neurotic.
and I think we could be uh, a force for clarity and decision and action.
Mm.
We
Mm.
just have to push it upwards. Um, but obviously, two voices saying the same thing is better. But you know, at least we're talking. But I mean, I suppose what I'm trying to ask is, why do you think the Abrahamic God would make you unhappy? Because okay, today has been quite a fruitful day. Somebody, some Muslim um, YouTuber, well, had somebody say the Shahada to him, but he was saying, but yeah, but I'm gay and you know, I, I support Israel and you know, it's like it's fine. You don't have to hate Israel. It's not compulsory, you know, to hate Israel. You know, and you know, saying that in any way we don't. It's just the Jews. They did this. They did that, and and he said, but I'm still gay, and and this guy said it doesn't matter. And I thought, yeah, it doesn't matter because um, um, even if you're still gay and you've converted to Islam, it's like, well, at least you're no longer an idolater. You'd be, you know, more aware that, you know, you said, okay, even if you don't want to give up being gay, it's sort of like, you know, maybe you can work on the other stuff, right? So actually, it's a good move, even for the gay person. And anyway, nobody's going to punish him. And anyway, even if they were full Sharia, nobody's going to punish anybody unless they were caught cottaging. So, um, you know, it's not a big deal at all. So I guess the only thing that gay people might mind is like, well, they're going to have their status lower. They won't be considered, you know, equal to married parents. And it's like, yeah, but it's fair enough. And so what we think we're losing is really status. We're just sort of, you know, kind of, you know, rearranging, reapportioning the status that we now have. And I guess you win some, you lose some. You know, you have to give up something in order to get something else that you want a bit more. So I don't see why you would feel threatened by it when in fact it could improve your life. You know,
I don't think Islam would improve my life. I don't want to live. I don't want to live by. Well, okay. Why? I didn't want the Quran. I think it's very obvious why I don't want to let Islam rule my life because all that Hadithic stuff is a lot of it's just fucked up and makes people stupid. And yes, killing homosexuals and fucking over women and stuff like that. And I don't
you
want
just
any
have
of
to
that.
control the interpretation and
That
basically
there's
say,
nothing that look that this is ridiculous to say that all of these brutalities are laid out and I have to interpret it. It's obvious what the brutalities are about. They're about brutality and that's it.
I don't know which verse you even mean.
Well, it's just about homosexuals. The hadiths about driving them out of their houses and kill them if you find them fucking, and this
Well, it
is
doesn't say that. Okay, I've already said how it would be interpreted, which is basically, I mean, obviously they're not going to enter your homes and say, "Oh, you're gay. We're going to enter your homes and kill you."
well, and under Islam it says drive them from their
It
homes.
doesn't say anything like that. It's something
Yes, it
else.
does.
Okay, you
I
find me
have
the
it.
verse. You find me the
I
verse. I think
do.
you're just
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to
okay
you.
because I know it quite well and I know it doesn't say that.
You don't read Hadith.
Okay, well, okay. I don't read Hadith. That's right. And I'm saying the kind of Sharia I have in mind will not have Hadith. Okay?
I
And
know, but I'm explaining to you why I don't want Islam, obviously. I don't want Islam because Islam includes Hadith. But secular Quranism, okay, number one, I don't know if I want to get rid of usury. Number two, I'm not against adultery if, as long as it's, I mean, what if they're married and the husband's okay with it? What if
well,
she's a married woman?
nobody's going to find out unless the couple, rat on each other, right?
No, well, well, anyway, I don't believe adulteresses should be whipped in public or fornicators should be whipped in public. Um, I don't believe in that. What else? Other things that I don't believe in the slavery. I don't believe in probably other things, the one party state. So I don't believe in those things. So I have no interest in becoming a secular Quranist. I don't support any of its principles. And, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but I'm not so sure about throwing out usury. You know, I, you
Oh, okay,
know,
well,
I,
maybe we can explore that then. Because I'm not sure about you. Okay, I already know I want to do it, but, I don't really know about it, about how life would be without usury. Uh, Maybe we could. But there's this Amir Kolan person. Did I send you a link? I think I did send you a link to his YouTube channel. And yeah, and he goes on about it, but I don't watch his videos because it's too technical, and I guess I'm busy doing other stuff. But I'm saying, the whole point is that it will make the economy more stable, and that is a good thing for everybody, isn't it?
yeah.
So, do you want to do homework on usury or something?
Huh? Um, you mean look for what's the work on usury? What are we gonna
Oh,
do?
okay,
Look.
maybe watch a few videos of this guy I was telling you about, Amir Kolan, I think his name is.
Yeah, how long are they?
Um, I don't know. There's a range of videos. I haven't even looked at them, but I kind of need to go because I said I'd call a friend back.
Okay.
But do you have?
Okay.
Oh, okay. John is here. I don't know if he wants to talk to you or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Ask him to come on.
Okay. So I'll leave you to it. John, can you come? Will you join Vincent and me? Or well, really, it would be just Vincent. I don't know if
Yeah,
he.
tell him I want to come on. I want to talk more about secular by design and Noah Hydlaw with him.
Okay. I'm all talked out.
I'm eating.
What are you eating?
Just some bread.
Okay. I'm feeling peckish myself.
I don't think I can share anything, or I
That's
don't
okay.
know.
But my computer's a bit slow, and I'm still trying to open Telegram. And then I'll go and get myself something to eat.
Oh, is John still commenting or no?
I don't know. Do you think he might have gone? Yeah, I think he probably would stay. I mean, I guess it being Easter, he might have time for us. Right, Telegram is open.
My husband is becoming so on the transgender issue. He's becoming very involved in it and interested in it, and he wants Trump to define two genders and stuff like that. And I do too. I mean, there are only two genders, plus hermaphrodites, but there's two genders, and
Well, I think it's useful for homosexuals to well, say that don't lump us in with these people,
yeah,
right? I
yes,
and I think more and more homosexuals are kind of making the point that we're not like those people.
yeah.
But I think all this is a problem of it's like if women encroach on male spaces, then I guess what these men are doing now is their revenge, wouldn't you
What do
say?
you mean?
If men feel that their spaces have been encroached on by women, then what they're doing now, what these transgender
Um,
women are doing now, is their idea of of revenge, don't you think?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I was thinking about this. Obviously, people obviously are transgender and they're born feeling like they're in the wrong body. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I'm not necessarily against surgeries, but I am against actually forcing people to say that, there's more than two genders or things like that. Gender is a scale and it's a binary for the I mean, I believe like you can have feminine or masculine qualities to you, but I think there's only two sexes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I guess you can say, "Ooh, I feel 100% male," or maybe 50% female, or whatever. You know, maybe I should give him a call. Okay, so there will be a noise, maybe. But I think they have been, what's the word, raised above homosexuals, really. Because even homosexuals can't
Well,
even sort of compete.
no, because people are starting to dislike them. They're being raised up artificially. This is not, the world coming to the aid of transgenders. This is Oh, or look, I'm at the aid of transgenders and I do support a lot of their things, but these types of things I don't support. And and what was I trying to say? That this is, the world really, a lot of the world supported gay marriage and it wasn't so artificial and, it didn't feel artificial and they weren't forcing, the only thing is that gays wanted to be able to get married, but they weren't forcing everyone else's rules to change or gays entering, your marriage or anything like that. Gays weren't entering your lane. It was just, gays got their own lane, right? And they got their own lane. And so
They
it
didn't
wasn't that
encroach on the spaces of the other sex or other. Yeah, yeah,
straight people.
yeah, yeah.
And, and then, but this does. And so people are not really liking it. And, the media is throwing it up and stuff like that. And the corporations are throwing it up. But it's gonna get us all in trouble. I do believe in trans story hour because trans people have been demonized and they've been, you know, it would be like the same thing as having Muslim story hour, like hijab story hour, Jewish story hour to make people aware of Jewish culture and Jewish people and all this other kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And you just do it with, trans people, and that's it. I'm not against trans story hour.
Oh, so you're not, but he is, but your husband is.
Well, I know he's against the twerking. I don't know if he's necessarily 100% against it, but like if they're going in dressed all provocative and twerking, then I guess.
Well, did you hear that in Canada it's now you get fined if you try to disrupt the drag queen story hour? I think 25,000 dollars. I think I don't know, but anyway, if you demonstrate against it, you are going to be fined in Canada.
Annoying. Well, no, you shouldn't.
Crazier
You
and
shouldn't.
crazier,
Huh?
crazier and crazier.
No, but you shouldn't interrupt, drag time story hour. You shouldn't interrupt it. And yeah, of course you should get fined.
But how else are you going to protest against it?
Not interrupt it. You can protest outside the building.
Okay, I'm going to look up what it actually says. Drag queen. But it apparently doesn't apply to any other kinds of disruptions, so they are being privileged. But let me just read the actual article if I can find it. Canada bans protests against drag screen story time. Canadian bill would criminalise protests of drag shows. Okay, it's just a bill. It hasn't. It hasn't. It's not law yet. Proposed law would set football field size zone around drag shows. So they've sort of not. Yeah, it's a $25,000 fine. So I think they are.
Yeah, they're trying to make it, well, they're trying to make it like protected classes like they have in India, where like if you do something against a Dalit, you get in more trouble, or if you're a Dalit, you get higher, it's easier for you to get into universities and stuff like that, so we have to, Dalit is. What I'm trying to say is that, people want revenge. If you think people aren't going to get revenge, you're silly. That's why you either get rid of people or you don't. And even Muslims didn't get that. So, you know, you either get rid of people or you don't. And if you keep them, you're going to have problems.
Well, you can't exterminate them all.
Yes, you can. Almost all of them, to the point that we exterminated all the Native Americans, didn't we?
Well, they're still on their reservations running casinos.
Okay, yeah, well, they're not a threat to America.
Well, I think the best way forward must be to get a system that most people can agree to and work it better. And I'm saying the problem with America is that it doesn't have an official moral system, and yes, you can say no hide laws, and I can say secular Quranism, and well, maybe they'll choose one of them, and that's all we can do. Listen, Vincent, I have to go.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.